Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here, back with yet another video talking about the trailers and footage we got from the Warhammer Skull Showcase back last weekend. So for those unaware, there was actually another secret that was wrapped up in that event. We already talked about the Beastman related stuff yesterday, and of course we talked about all the obvious reveals the day before, but did you know that there's actually a secret message hidden in some of the footage that was released during the showcase? That's right! A secret, hidden, clandestine message. So, what I need you all to do right now is wherever you may have put it after our last discussion, I'm going to need you guys to get out your tinfoil hats. I know it's been a while since we've put them on. Hopefully you can peel them off your windows or wherever it is that you've inevitably put them to protect yourself against the predations of demons and other foul creatures in this world of ours. But get your tinfoil hats out and make sure to put them back on immediately. It is critical for this kind of discussion. I've got mine on. You can't see it, but I can assure you it is most certainly definitely there. So, just like the last time we had our tinfoil hats on, Lakor is back. And he's up to all of his sneaky shenanigans, trying to slip into our brains with little whispered messages, even if they're extremely missable. So, what am I talking about? Well, if you go listen and watch, I suppose, the Khorne trailer that was put out that showed off Skarbrand, has him yelling at us for a few minutes, you may notice at the very, very end, right before all the little Sega icon comes up where it shows the giant eyeball and plays that really loud note, there's actually someone whispering. Lakor whispering. The Dark Master is up to his shenanigans again, trying to worm his way into our brains and likely bring him out into our reality. But it's very, very important that you don't fall for that. We do need to try and figure out what he's saying, but only from a purely academic perspective, not because we're trying to become a cult serving him like happened to those poor bastards in Mordheim. In any event, at the end of the trailer, there is some whispered words. It is very, very hard to hear. It doesn't make it any easier that the message is actually in reverse. Even with Lakor speaking correctly, it is still very, very hard to understand what he's saying, just because he's whispering. From what I can tell, he seems to say something along the lines of either wait in darkness or await in darkness, and then something else, but I'm not sure. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, I think, what he's saying. I don't think it's going to be a big reveal on who the next faction we're going to see or anything like that is. I think this is just the Dark Master leaving more and more hints to show that he is orchestrating whatever the hell is going on out in the world of Total War Warhammer, and he will inevitably be taking the throne as the last major character and threat at the end of the cycle for Total War Warhammer, because I do think 100%, if you haven't seen my Lakor theory videos, which you should absolutely go watch, that Lakor is the 9th Legendary Lord, because we do have confirmation on the Steam page for Total War Warhammer 3 that there are actually 9 Legendary Lords in the starting game for Total War Warhammer 3. That being, of course, the 2 Legendary Lords for Kislev, being Kostaltin and Katarin, 2 Legendary Lords for Cathay, one of which probably being the Celestial Dragon Emperor, and we don't know who the other one is yet, and then 4 Legendary Lords, one for each of the Chaos Gods, with Skarbrand officially now stepping into the role of Khorne, and hopefully we'll be seeing the other greater demons marching into their thrones to represent their gods in the starting game of Total War Warhammer 3, that being Kugoth Plaguefather, Nakari, and Kairos Fateweaver, respectively. However, that leaves us with a 9th slot, which, as I've spoken about extensively, is almost guaranteed to be Belakor. Because if you're going to have a big grand finale about Warhammer Fantasy, you have to include Belakor. He's just too big and just plays such a critical role as the first Demon Prince and the big bad champion of Undivided, next to, of course, Archaon the Everchosen himself. But Belakor represents Undivided Demons, whereas Archaon represents Undivided Warriors of Chaos. In any event, I think this confirms for me personally that Belakor is probably going to show up across every trailer. Maybe not every single video, but I do think that every major point in the development of Total War Warhammer 3, so probably, I don't know which gods are going to be next, but when Nurgle drops a trailer or something, and then Tzeentch and Slaanesh, or whatever the order may be, I think it is critical that we do our best to put on our detective goggles, and I don't think detective goggles are a thing, but you know what I mean, and look for the signs of the Dark Master, the Shadow Lord of Mordheim, and try and figure out what the hell he's up to and why he's leaving all these secret breadcrumbs for us. I will say, if anybody happens to have a good... If anybody has any experience with manipulating audio files to try and like clean up the noise behind the sound, or you just have a good ear and are able to figure things out by listening very carefully, I would love for someone to figure out exactly what Belakor said. Like I spoke earlier, I don't think it ultimately matters. It's probably him just rambling on. However, there is a chance, I think maybe a small chance, that he may well be revealing who the next god that's going to be getting trailers and stuff is. It's probably just him talking about himself or being like, hey, I'm still here. But I would really, really love to know exactly what he says. But unfortunately, even with the audio flipped, it's very, very difficult for me personally, at least, and everyone that I've seen commenting in that Reddit thread to understand exactly what he's saying. It's just very, like, it's literally impossible to understand. So if anyone has that kind of experience and is able to sort of slip in there and try and mess around with it to make it more clear, I would love that. And please do let me know if you figure it out. But at the very least, I would love to see all of your thoughts on what it is he is saying. But in any event, I'm very, very excited for things to kind of continue pressing forwards. We do have E3 coming up this week. I don't think Total War Warhammer is going to be showing off anything new. They're probably just going to show off all the stuff they showed off at the Skull Showcase, because that was kind of like just a purely Warhammer themed E3, but obviously Total War and all those guys, if they're smart, will want to advertise to the more global population and not the very, very niche Games Workshop focused community aspect of Total War Warhammer. So I will be on the lookout just in case they do reveal anything new. I don't think they will, but they might. So, you know, it is definitely worth watching. And plus, it's just going to be fun seeing E3 back this year. But ultimately, let me know what you all think. Let me know if you can maybe try and figure out what it is he is saying, what the Dark Master is trying to whisper to us. Just be sure that whenever you're dealing with something Belakor related, you gotta keep your hat on. I know it's not conventional wisdom and it's not really spoken about in the lore, but I can assure you, as a Loremaster, that tinfoil hats are actually the only protection against the Dark Master's manipulations. Even in our world, where he is a fictitious character, it's still incredibly dangerous to do anything relating to Belakor without wearing a tinfoil hat. It's just, it's necessary. It may not seem like it, but trust me, you don't want to suddenly wake up and find yourself creating bizarre drawings on your wall out of who knows what, trying to summon the Shadow Lord into our existence. But in any event, thank you all so much for watching. I hope I will see you all again soon. Please take care of yourselves, and I will be streaming a lot. I've been streaming pretty much daily, so if you haven't already, please come hang out with me and check it all out at www.twitch.tv/Loremaster of Sotek. And I will see you all next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.